When going against the Cleveland defense, obviously you see the numbers are all up there. But what stands out to you when you're looking out there, like, as kind of what the challenges they present?
No, first of all, it is a great challenge. Playing there, that's number one. They do a great job of challenging you schematically in all areas as you get ready. In terms of your game plan, they challenge you, and they do it with tremendous players. But it's one thing to have tremendous players and the way they play. I mean, they play hard. So it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we're excited to go.
Todd, what's it mean to you to go back to Cleveland, given your history there?
Oh, I don't know. That was 4 years ago, basically. In some ways, wish I would have done it better. There's some of that the Haslam's were great. JW. Paul, front office was great. We just didn't do it well enough. I didn't do it well enough. So that part of it, but I'm excited to go back. I'm a Raven, and that was 4 years ago.
Is there any, it's kind of a dumb way to put it, but extra motivation in that regard because, it didn't really go maybe the way you wanted or hoped?
No, there's no motivation is to play better on offense and to execute at a higher level and stack plays. You can't go score, fumble, and then you go 4 straight possessions putting the ball on the ground. I mean, that's what motivates me. It's not, it's not going back to Cleveland. It's the product we put on the field consistently, starting with me, how I do it, and then our players taking the plan to the practice and then to the field because we've seen what it looks like. So now we've just got to continue to improve. That's the motivation.
Lamar's fumbled the ball 4 times. I mean, hasn't lost every single one of them, but he's fumbled 4 times. Is that a concern? Is that something you have to address with him?
Sure. It's always, it doesn't matter whether it's Lamar or any quarterback in terms of their ball security in the pocket, outside the pocket. And it's coming the more it ends up on the ground. I mean, there's no question they're showing that to their defensive players. So it's a point of emphasis this week of all of our players. We can't turn the ball over, can't put it on the ground. It puts us all at risk.
He didn't end up throwing downfield very much against the Bulls. What happened to sort of make that the case?
Some of it was, early in the game we did the first 2 drives. We hit, seam throws or a pocket throw to get it. And we had another opportunity late in the game. But some of it, we were trying to get the ball out. It was a situational part. There was others we did have opportunities or we were trying to get it down the field, and we just didn't end up getting to it either by protection, route, and some of it was by design that we were trying to stay a little bit ahead of the chains.
Did they do something different than take away the run in overtime, Lamar running in specific?
Some of it they did. They got some bigger people out there that made it a little more difficult. Got to do a better job of scheming it and calling it. That's for sure at the end. But no, we certainly, and there's part of it that we didn't execute well enough. So it's all the above, but it starts with me and how we do it and having a much better plan and giving us a chance to execute at a much higher level.
What is the message to the offense this week? It's only week 3 of the new offensive system. After a game like that, do you kind of say, all right, we're still in the early stages of growing, or how do you kind of talk to them about that?
All the above. You don't want to overreact, but you don't want to just scrub it under the rug because it was just a week ago we went to the Bengals and played really, really well and functioned at a really high level on the road. So we have it in us. So how do we carry that week to week? How do we install it, game plan it the right way so our guys understand what to expect? And when we get there or we get those opportunities, we have a chance to execute at a high level. That's really what it is. At times we have too much drag. Too much. It starts with me. I mean, I'm in charge of it. But we have too much drag, and there's a lot of reasons why that is, but it really doesn't make it. You got to clean it up and get better at it and take it to the field. Because like I said, 2 weeks in a row we've taken the opening drive and gone down and scored. And then it carried over the Bengals, and then, it didn't. We had certainly an opportunity on that second drive, and then we just sputtered. Then we just never got that mojo back, and got to find a way to get that. Got to call it better, got to execute better. That's the way it works.
Some broad strokes, ways of contending with the Browns defense. I know that they're aggressive. They've talked about how they really want to make Jackson uncomfortable. What are some broad strokes, ways of going against that defense, maybe?
Well, first off, their goal, they're trying to make every quarterback uncomfortable, like every defense is. I mean, the idea is if you make the quarterback uncomfortable, then it's difficult for them to operate. So I understand that part of it. Our job is to try and make it where he's not uncomfortable. It's really actually pretty simple in football. They're trying to make your quarterback uncomfortable. We're trying to make him really comfortable, and then we'll see. That's really the chess match there, really. You know what I'm saying? And we got really good players, and they got really good players. So let's go.
How much is the speed top on tape?
They just play hard. I just think they. I think they've done a nice job of their acquisitions in the offseason, bolstering their defense. Obviously bringing in, Jim and they're bringing the new defensive scheme. It's got a new excitement, a new enthusiasm. And then when it gets backed up in games, it even just raises another level. Does that make sense? Like, all of a sudden that confidence level just continues to raise as there's a belief system. Then it gets, translated onto the field, so then it just raises like, okay, this is what it looks like. So that's our job to do everything in our power to not have that happen come Sunday.
How much harder is it to put the focus that you want to on blocking Garrett when you know they have Za'Darius on the other end?
Sure. Well, they've got good players, so it's not even just him. I mean, they're very active at linebacker. I mean, they like to bring Delpit. They bring multiple players. They get edgy. They make you defend. A number of players, number of coverages, schemes, just in terms of just making sure you're sound. And to me, the biggest thing is how do you stay out of those long yardage situations? How do you stay out of the chains? And when you get opportunities to be able to make plays down the field, but that's not just them. That's everybody. How do you stay out of chains, and yet how can you still be explosive to give yourself a chance? And that's the challenge, playing a good defense.
Different for every receiver, but what do you want them, how do you want them to improve when they can tell blitz is coming and Lamar might not be able to get to the end of his drop before he's got to kind of get rid of that?
Sure, we did an outstanding job at Cincinnati in terms of when they did come, in terms of our recognition. And some of it was still good on Sunday. We just weren't as clean. We weren't as clean in some of the protections, something to do with them. We weren't as clean in terms of our routes. We weren't clean in a lot of areas. In terms of the calls. I mean, it's all of us. I mean, at the end of the day, you own it. We got offensively, okay? We got to coach better. We got to attack the weak better, and we got to execute better. It's really that simple,
God, how difficult is it to keep with a game plan, especially passing what you want to do passing when you might be without two of your top receivers?
Well, I mean, first off, that's why Nelson Aguilar is here, as a player. Devin Duvernay's made plenty of plays here in the past, and Zay is a fantastic rookie, only going to get better. So Mark Andrews, I think for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks is feeling, better. I mean, I think he's moving better. I mean, really, this is the first week I've seen, and probably 4 or 5 that I feel like he's at full speed, So that's a positive, that's a plus going in this week. And every week that we're together, I really believe we're going to continue to do it better, and we'll see.